Welcome to the CHOW Podcast, hosted by Animal Friends of Wyoming County, where our mission is to help care for animals held by the Wyoming County Animal Shelter and promote responsible pet care in Wyoming County. Thank you for joining us. Hey everybody, welcome to the Animal Friends of Wyoming County CHOW Podcast. I'm Sam Goodell. Welcome to a brand new year. Thank goodness we got through all of 2024. We're on to a whole new year. And for our listening audience, you can tune into our YouTube and our Rumble pages to see a live version of the podcast, a video recording, I would say, actually, of the podcast. So, thank you for tuning in. If this is your first time, my name is Sam Goodell. I'm the president of Animal Friends of Wyoming County. And I'm joined today by some of our Animal Friends of Wyoming County board members. And we're going to do a little bit of a celebration because in 2025, Animal Friends celebrates 10 years of being in operation in December 2025, actually. So we have a whole fun year planned for everybody, and we're going to be celebrating. We're going to be having some community events. And today we're going to do a little bit of a self-reflection on what the group is like. But before we dive into everything today, let's introduce the co-hosts here for today. First, I'm going to start off with Miss Cassandra Redding, our treasurer.
Hi, Sam.
Hi, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good. And then to my left of me, we have Miss Lori Brown. She is the Animal Friends of Wyoming County Vice President.
Hello, Sam.
Hello, how's it going, Lori? Good. She's the co-captain of this ship, and so I'm very blessed to have her here and be part of this. And this is her first time actually tuning into the podcast, which is fantastic. I'm so excited to have her here. Finally on season 3.
Yeah.
And then also joining us today is one of our latest board members, Miss Jessie Stock-Lombardo. She is our CHOW coordinator.
Hi, Sam. Hi, everybody. Great to be here.
Good to have you here. So some of the behind the scenes for the CHOW podcast is not just me putting on this whole show. It's between this amazing lady and myself that we get this stuff done. So thank you for joining and welcome aboard to the ship and to this endeavor we have here. This is how big our CHOW podcast has grown, guys. We went from audio for the first 2 seasons, and now we're going into season 3 on a video version of the podcast, and hopefully we can reach more people, get our message out there more, and yeah, this is gonna be fun. I'm excited for a new year. So let's just get to know each other a little bit, especially for our audience who has no idea who we are. Lori, tell us a little bit about yourself. What brought you to Animal Friends? And
I saw it on the website and I thought, why not? I've been here with Animal Friends for 4 years. Just about 4 years, and I'm totally enjoying it.
Yeah,
making new friends. Love to see the dogs. Working out in the community.
Yeah, it's been a very it's been a great experience having Lori here on the team and joining in, stepping in as vice president, helping me fill in when I'm not available, and I can't say enough good things. I can't think of anyone else to be the head of a group like this with Lori.
Oh,
so
thank you.
Thank you. So, any passions that you have outside of your Animal Friends role or your work, or what do you do for a living? Things like that.
I'm full-time at the hospital. I'm a mental health therapy aide, and I also work in Mount Morris. I have another job there, and pretty much work a lot. So I do squeeze this in because I do enjoy it. But yeah, I stay pretty busy. I just hope someday that I can just have one job and be able to spend more time here because I do want to be here more.
Yeah. But the work that you do for the group is great. It's impeccable. And we are very blessed to have you here. And like I said before, I'm blessed to have you by my side for this.
Oh,
so this is... we got a really good group. We have a full Animal Friends board, and each one of us does different things, and each one of us plays a bigger role and part in the overall Animal Friends of Wyoming County organization. So I'm very blessed to have the group that we have. So Sandy, what's new in your life? Introduce yourself to our guests that maybe are hearing you for the first time.
Well, lucky them. Well, I've been in this group for going on 2 years now. I'm the treasurer. I take care of the donations and the candy bar sales and the meat stick sales, anything that we sell for our shop and support. I take care of the money part. So if you want to donate, hit me up. How I got started here is I adopted a puppy named Riley. I named her Riley. They had 7 pretty bad puppies come in, and I just had to have one. So, and then, I don't know, a year and a half later, I adopted her mom. They've got her mom and dad surrendered here, and I took Pebbles in. So now I have 2 adopted dogs from the shelter. And what made me get started was I talked to Justa when I adopted Riley, and she's like, "Hey, you want to be on the board?" So I'm like, "Sure." So here I am. Mm-hmm. And it goes along with what I do for a living because I work at the treasurer's office for Wyoming County. So do a lot of that stuff there. Mm-hmm. So it all combines.
Yep. It was just right place, right time, right settings, and it fit in. We were needing a treasurer at the time. I usually, whenever we have a vacant spot on the board, I usually fill in all those gaps to help keep everything afloat and keep it going. And at the time, we didn't have a treasurer, so I was doing that plus my other duties. And then here comes in Sandy, and there you go. And it was perfect. It was just perfect time. So thank you for all the work that you do for the group and doing this for the past couple of years. It's fantastic. It's hard to imagine it's been 2 years. 'Cause I feel like it just happened.
I know.
I know. I was wondering that too.
Because I got Riley in 2022, and then I think I joined like right after at the beginning of 23. So pretty sure that's when it was.
Perfect. And then we have Miss Jessie. So what do you do for a living? What are your passions? What made you get involved with Animal Friends?
So I actually work at SUNY Geneseo. I'm the director of career design there. And so I'm always talking to students about their career path. And we talk a lot about, exploring things that bring you energy and that you enjoy. And so I moved to Wyoming County. I actually live in Wyoming, but I moved here in 2019. And so I had 2 dogs that I adopted from shelters, not here, but prior to me moving here. And last October, one of my dogs that I adopted got cancer. We had to put him down. And so it was kind of serendipitous. I was on the Animal Friends website, or actually Facebook page, and I saw a posting for the CHOW coordinator position. And I had been thinking about ways to get involved and to do things that I really enjoyed. And so I'm a believer in things happen for a reason at the right place, right time. So I reached out. And so for me, this was a way to get more involved in the community, especially after COVID. I felt like the majority of time I've spent here so far has been during COVID. And so this was a way for me to get involved and to be part of something, work with dogs, do something that is really important and impactful to me. So I don't have a lot of experience with the podcast side of CHOW, but I really enjoy reaching out to the community to try to talk to people about the importance of being a responsible dog owner and ways that we can help to improve the quality of life for dogs and the people in our community too. So I'm happy to be here. This has been a whole new learning experience as well.
Yep. Yeah, so your position, the CHOW coordinator position, you're the first person to fill the role. We actually created it for just operating our whole CHOW project because there is a lot more than just a podcast for CHOW. So whenever you watch this video, if you're at home watching it right now or you're listening to it right now on your devices, it's not just a podcast. The CHOW project has educational videos online on YouTube, but we also have a newsletter that's part of it. And we also try to incorporate a children's coloring book. We're hoping to get launched hopefully next year, but every time we start to work on it, we feel like we get like 2 steps back, but we are working on it. It's definitely a goal of ours. But we have many, many different aspects of the CHOW project. It's basically the whole education wing, and we'll get into that a little bit more today in the podcast. So when Jessie said she was interested in giving her background and everything, I thought this is like the amazing puzzle piece that's just fitting right exactly where it is. So we're very blessed to have you here, and thank you for joining and being part of it and helping me direct the whole CHOW project. So
glad to be helping.
Yes. So, all right. So I guess a little bit on Animal Friends of Wyoming County. For our listening audience, we just popped up on our screen here a new reveal of our Animal Friends logo that we are using for 2025. Since we are celebrating 10 years as of December 2025, thanks to the amazing work of Go For It Graphics, Jody at Go For It Graphics and Perry, she and her team, Scott, helped me redesign our logo to kind of resemble Wyoming County. And when people think of Wyoming County who aren't from Wyoming County, usually they think of Letcher State Park. And so the photo is actually a photo that one of my friends, Audie, had taken at Letcher Park in the fall. And they reimagined it into our logo for a 10-year anniversary celebration. And we just got this done, by the way. At the time of filming this, we just had this done like within the past week. So we're all still in awe of looking at like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. So we're taking this podcast episode opportunity to do a little self-reflection on what's happened for the past 10 years for Animal Friends and looking forward to what we are doing in the future now, especially for this year and upcoming. Before any of you guys started at Animal Friends, did you hear about the Wyoming County Animal Shelter before, or what were your experiences before Animal Friends was even here? Do you have anything you want to share regarding that?
Yes, when my son was young, we used to come here and help just to wash the dogs, and so we've known about this place for quite a while. So that's kind of another reason I had an interest in it, coming to Animal Friends. And I can't have any dogs myself because I'm not home enough, so I get to get my fix here.
Yeah, yeah. Well, did you know of the Wyoming County Animal Shelter too much before Animal Friends?
Well, yeah, I've known Justa all my life. She grew up across the street from where I grew up, and she used to babysit me, actually. So I knew about it that way when it was all the way up on Baumbacher Road. I've never been there, but I knew of that place. And then this came available, and I'm like, oh, that would be a great place for a shelter. And they got it. So it was great. And so I think I came in once to volunteer when they had all the little dogs that were found.
Yes, the 45 Chihuahua case.
Yeah, and I came in there and I helped. I swept up the back room and just helped a little bit. And then I got to hold one on the porch, and it was great.
Yeah.
That's when I wanted to volunteer, but I couldn't with my schedule. Mm-hmm. So this was perfect.
Yeah. For anyone who doesn't know what Sandy here is referencing, I call her Sandy. Her name is Cassandra, but I call her Sandy. That's the nickname. I think my mom calls you Sandy too. So
she does.
It just continued on.
That's what I was called.
I think it was 44 or 45 Chihuahuas back in 2012. Wyoming County had a hoarding situation. I'm trying to remember the township. I want to say it was either Covington or Bennington, somewhere northern Wyoming County, somewhere in between there. And this gentleman was hoarding Chihuahuas, and they were inbreeding, and it was about 44 of them, and each one of them had behavior issues, masses and tumors that were the size of their heads. It became a whole ordeal. It was on the news. And that was before Animal Friends even started. Animal Friends started in 2015. And in 2012, we had our core volunteer group headed up by Bridget Mertzak, one of our core volunteers here at the time. And we called ourselves the Spay Our Stray Program. The Spay Our Stray group. That ended up becoming the Spay Our Stray Program when Animal Friends got incorporated and we started and we organized. That was our first program because we wanted to continue the great work that Bridget and my mom had started. So we had that case. That was a devastating case. 44, 45 Chihuahuas here at the animal shelter that, to put that in a little bit of perspective, we only have 23 pens at the Wyoming County Animal Shelter. So to almost double that, with that number of dogs, some of the pens that had 2 dogs in there, we had to be careful on which dogs we put in with each other for that behavior aggression issue because they would constantly attack each other. Or you could tell which ones are the bosses because of their size compared to the other dogs that are malnutritioned. So that was a hard time, but that's when the community really got more involved with the Wyoming County Animal Shelter because we were put in the news, we were put on the spot, and we saw donations start coming in. We were able to fund with some spaghetti dinners, the mass removal surgeries for some of these dogs, get them all rehomed to good homes, and then eventually the gentleman that was hoarding the dogs, because of how grotesque of a situation was, that was actually brought to justice. So, a sad event and experience, but it was part of the volunteer group and Animal Friends really jump-starting to say, what can we do as concerned citizens to be involved?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was a devastating case in time. But we're here, and in October 2015, Animal Friends started, and officially we started in December, but we started organizing in October. And I am one of the 2 founding members of Animal Friends that's still on the board. Tom Purcell is another one. And we've been going strong for going on 10 years now. Oh, we have a phone call coming in from Jamie. She is our Animal Friends of Wyoming County secretary. So let's see if I get this right. Hey, Jamie, how's it going?
Hey, good. How are you?
Good, good. You're live onto the podcast. What was your experience joining Animal Friends of Wyoming County?
My experience has been from when I first adopted Diesel, who was the first dog that I got from the shelter. From what I understand, he was found wandering the streets of Warsaw and everything, and it just kind of suckered me in since then. I then adopted 2 more dogs from the shelter, which has been a great experience overall. And then I wanted to know my way of giving back to the shelter to see what I could do for future rescues from the shelter and everything, and was able to become a board member and become the secretary of Animal Friends.
Yes, well, thank you so much for joining in. Thank you for all the adoptions that you've done, by the way. I can say for personal experience, I've seen you come in throughout the years, and the couple dogs you've been able to adopt from the shelter. I remember Cowabunga, or Callie, I think we call it. Yeah, she was a sad case. She was one of those cases where she wasn't treated properly before, and there was she didn't last too long because she had an issue with her weight, and it never was able to correct itself no matter what you were able to do. But thank you for giving her those amazing years in a forever home while we had her.
Yes, absolutely. And it's definitely seemed longer than even less than 2 years that we had her. But like you said, she had the weight issue, and every time we went somewhere, we felt like we had to be the ones to explain ourselves as to why she was the weight that she was. But ultimately, we just gave her the best loving home that we could for the few times that we did, or for the few years we did have her, and just loved her the best we could.
Yeah, and thank you. And then what made you interested in joining Animal Friends of Wyoming County?
Just made me interested was because of wanting my way of giving back to the shelter. I used to be very involved in the fire department, and ever since I left that, I had this void, and I didn't know what I needed to do to fill that. And I've always loved dogs, so I just thought my way of giving back too would be to be able to become a member of Animal Friends and go from there.
Well, it was perfect timing because we had our secretary position open, and this was kind of the work that you were interested in doing. So it was it was just perfect timing. I feel like what we've talked about so far in the podcast, how whenever there was something that was available for a position or for someone to fill, it seemed to have been like that. How do I describe it properly? The missing puzzle piece that fit in just right, or it was the perfect time and circumstances in everyone's lives. And Jamie, when you came on board, this was exactly the same time we were looking for a secretary. I personally was looking desperately for a secretary. And Sandy gave me some encouraging words saying, wait, good things are going to come to those that wait. And I never forgot those words. And you are that good thing. So thank you. Thank you for joining our group, and thank you for doing the educational video for our podcast and for everything. And I'm excited to see what the future holds for your involvement with the group. So thank you.
Absolutely. Well, thank you. And thank you to everybody in the group. And I look forward to working and continue to work with everybody as well.
Awesome. Well, goodbye, Jamie. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
All right. Thanks, you as well.
My quick apologies. I forgot. Did anyone want to say something to Jamie or anything in regards to it?
That's okay.
Could you call her back? No, I was kidding.
All right. Well, thank you so much for Jamie. That was our secretary Jamie, who just started with Animal Friends, just actually recently within the past couple months.
Yeah.
So we're very blessed to have her. So we were talking a little bit about what our group is. How would you describe our group, Lori? What would you say is like our mission of Animal Friends?
Well, helping all the animals get everything that they need. They're spayed, neutered, microchipped, so that people can actually afford to adopt a dog.
Mm-hmm.
Some people just can't do that.
Right.
So, you know, that's kind of what we do, is make it affordable.
Yeah. Really, that is the group's main mission in a nutshell, is to help these dogs at the animal shelter. As of the time of this recording, there's not too many rules in regards to animal shelters on the care that they need to have. That is going to be changed by the end of 2025 when a new law gets into effect for rescues and shelters and organizations such as that. But Animal Friends has been doing what this new law is asking for us to do for the past 10 years now. We've been making sure these dogs get spayed and neutered before they go. We make sure they have up-to-date vaccines. We're doing microchipping. Thanks to the incredible work of Perry Vet Clinic, we're able to do laser therapy on them too. And we have a great partnership with some of our local businesses like Perry Vet and others to help sell our candy bars, our popcorn, our meat sticks, and all those go to help our Spay Our Stray program and other programs that benefit our dogs here at the shelter ultimately, and our community dogs too. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's a big thing. We started in December of 2015. We're a 501c3 nonprofit organization, so every donation you give is tax deductible. So I do encourage everyone to donate. It does help our group out tremendously.
We have several ways to donate, actually.
Yeah.
We have Venmo, we have PayPal, you could send a check, cash, however.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah, we really have opened up a lot more with especially electronic stuff.
Yeah. On our water bottles, there's a scan you can actually scan.
Yes. Oh, yeah, that's right. So on the back of our water bottles, if you get one of these blue ones say, "I support adoption." And on the back, there's a QR code you can be able to scan, and you view all of our content.
Yeah.
So you see all the things that we do. That's a very good point, Sandy.
Yeah.
So are there any other ways you could think of people can donate to us if they're interested?
Well, I think the shelter would take stuff like Clorox, Dawn, trying to remember everything, laundry soap and dryer sheets, stuff like that. Simple Green cleaning products.
Purina.
Oh, Purina, wet and dry dog food. So
Paper products.
yeah, you can just directly bring it right in. The shelter hours. What are the shelter hours that they can donate? Stuff like that.
At the time of this recording, well, actually, you can be able to donate at any time at the animal shelter. We do have a drop-off box in the outside of the Wyoming County Animal Shelter. So if there's products that you want to donate to us or things like that, you can stop by any time and put it in the box. We accept like Clorox, bleach, Dawn dish soap, dryer sheets. We go through so many of them here at the animal shelter.
What about used blankets? Would you take some of those?
Yes. Always. We'll always take used blankets, things like that. If you're just cleaning out your house, or we've actually had people that were like cleaning at hotels and things like that, and they need to get rid of their old sheets or anything like that, we'll take them, because our shelter dogs, they can use any sort of comfort that they can get. And so we'll never say no to donations like that. Dog food, Purina food is what we usually use here at the animal shelter. Anything Purina based. So Purina Pro Plan, Purina, I think there's CHOW, Purina, dog food. Purina 1 is a popular one that we like to use here too. So yeah, donations of any kind for the Wyoming County Animal Shelter. And then if you donate to Animal Friends of Wyoming County, your funds and your money are going right towards these dogs at the animal shelter and our education stuff that we're doing right here in our podcast. So you can see the fruits of its labor basically here.
Yeah.
So we're a community-based organization. All of us are from Wyoming County. Everyone on the board actually is from Wyoming County. Tom at the moment is not, but he started in Wyoming County, so he was grandfathered in. So we forgive you, Tom. But other than that, we have an amazing group, and we're just so blessed to have everyone here. And so let's talk a little bit about. Oh, is this working? Sorry, guys. We are experiencing a little bit of technical difficulties today. We are very new to the video version of a podcast. So if you're watching this and you're like, oh, the screen looks a little bit different here, or it's displaying something on the TV that's not exactly how I intended. Basically, this is how I intended. That's why. So our programs and our projects that we do for Animal Friends, which basically make up what our organization is, other than a group of people getting together and chatting and doing stuff about the dogs of the shelter. Sandy, you touched upon ways people can donate and things like that. For Spay Our Stray in particular, what is the Spay Our Stray program in a nutshell?
Dogs legally have to be spayed and neutered before they leave the shelter. So the Spay Our Stray, all that money goes toward any operations that the dogs need, like spay, neuter, mass removals, eyes, dental, anything that they need to be able to be adoptable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a very good thing that you noted right there and you pointed out. As of December 2025, dogs do legally have to be spayed and neutered before they leave. Before that, we're in the gray period right now where the law doesn't say that, but animal control has made a policy here that they want them spayed and neutered. And the only reason they're able to make that policy and actually keep it is because of Animal Friends, because we sponsor those dogs that come in for their spay and neuters.
So your donation actually goes to helping get these pets adopted, get what they need.
Yes, exactly. So all those vaccines that we do, we have like adoption folders that we have that shows our new dog owners what their dog had done to them and things like that. That's all through your donations. So keeping the Spay Our Stray program is
and we thank you.
Thing. Yes, yes. We can't thank you enough for all that because it really helps us do our job. Even though our job is just a volunteer-based job, none of us on Animal Friends are getting paid to do this. We are all volunteering our time and our services and our talent to fulfill this mission. So, Jesse, can you touch upon our CHOW Project?
Sure. So, like I mentioned earlier, I'm newer to the being a CHOW coordinator, but one of the things that I really love about this particular program is it's educational in nature, and that could span from the podcast you're listening to, also the educational videos. So we all have different topics that we'll speak on. Sam is incredibly talented at writing us scripts that we all, now I will say, getting up in front of the camera is not my favorite thing to do, but, it's getting outside our comfort zone a little bit. So we speak on different topics related to canine ownership. And I really think that's important, and how it ties into the overall mission of working with shelter dogs is that we are trying our best to educate the public around how to be a responsible owner of pets, but specifically dogs, so that we can keep less dogs out of the shelter, and also encourage newer generations. So puppies program is up there, which we'll talk about in a minute, but also really engaging our youth in the community early so that they can learn more about, what it takes to be a responsible pet owner. Because, the reality is everyone thinks owning a dog would be great and fun, but there's elements to it that, require time, patience, energy, money. And so before you, jump in with those experiences, knowing what you're getting into, even if it's about particular dog breeds. So I really like that about the CHOW program, is it explores a lot of different topic areas and reaches out to a lot of different people who maybe otherwise wouldn't be thinking about those things before they step up and, want to get a dog. And I also think another component of that is encouraging the community to get involved with the shelter, so that they might consider adopting a shelter dog over maybe going to a breeder, or not that there's anything wrong with that, but we want to encourage people to go out and, really consider shelter dogs, because they can be amazing companions. And I think some of the best companions, honestly.
I'm going to put a pin on that real quick, because we have with us joining in on the podcast is Miss Bridget Mertzak, actually. So, hey, Bridget, how's it going?
Hi. Good. Hi, Sam. How are you doing?
We're doing good. You're on the podcast on Animal Friends. You're here with Lori, Sandy, and Jesse. That's part of our board.
Hi, Bridget.
Hi.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, so thank you for tuning in and joining us for this episode. I want to just give a public, very big thank you for the work you've done on behalf of the dogs here at the shelter in the past. I gave a little bit of an introduction to Bridget earlier in the podcast today, and there is a podcast episode with Bridget called Volunteerism you guys could tune into. But Miss Bridget was one of the main reasons why we have a volunteer group here at the Wyoming County Animal Shelter. So it's a pleasure to have her join us on the podcast here. Tell us, Bridget, how did you get involved with the Wyoming County Animal Shelter?
Well, it was just, I just happened to be going by the shelter after, it was the first day my son went to preschool for a half a day. And I just was going by and decided to stop in, and pretty much that's all she wrote. I got in there and I just pretty much didn't want to leave. I couldn't wait to get started and find ways to help the animals at the shelter.
Yes, well, thank you to your hard work and your dedication.
You're welcome.
And you were very instrumental in helping organize getting the volunteers around, spaying and neutering, the spaghetti dinners. It really was part of your leadership that we were able to successfully rehome all those dogs. So,
it was an amazing time. It really was. And we have had some wonderful people on that night with us. And we just all worked together, and it was amazing to see the community come together to help, and different businesses, send us money or volunteer to help clean the dogs and get them ready for adoption. It was really it was a great thing to see.
Mm-hmm. Yes, well, thank you for all the hard work that you've done. Thank you for donating your time to the dogs here at the shelter and to our volunteer group on Animal Friends. There was a slight time where she was actually involved in the Animal Friends on the board for a while before life got busy, as it always does for us. So thank you for your work in that regard and continuing to stick with it. And I'm so happy you joined us here on the podcast. Does anyone here have a question for Bridget while she's on?
I can't think
Not
of
to put anyone on the spot.
I just think it's cool that she used to be here and was one of the first ones to start.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and it's a great place. I always recommend, it's one of the things that I recommend that everyone, even if you can give an hour to go down and walk a dog, or just give a basket, donate a basket, or you're amazed at how someone's just a little time can really make a big difference, especially at a place like an animal shelter.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and that is definitely something that we encourage all of our volunteers. I always encourage our board members and anyone involved in Animal Friends, come to the animal shelter, see your county-run shelter, and see those dogs here. That your donation goes to help fix these dogs, get them rehabbed back into the community and everything. So it's great. And Bridget here is also a educator too. She is a teacher, sorry, at Letchworth School. And I want to ask you, Bridget, we are trying to start here a youth group type program called the Puppies Program that's for encouraging kids to come to the animal shelter. So how important do you feel it is for kids to join the animal shelter and volunteer?
Well, my own two children, my daughter Julia, who's 24 now and just got married, and my son Johnny, who will be 21 this year. Both my children were with me at the shelter when I was there. They helped me with all of my fundraisers. I also did try to involve, I work with children with special needs, and a lot would have them come down to the shelter. I feel like it's a good avenue to take for children, especially these days. It shows compassion, empathy. I really do feel it's an important thing that they learn to volunteer their time, and coming to the animal shelter is probably one of the greatest things they could do. I don't think anybody I know has ever left there feeling like they didn't make a difference. Mm-hmm. So Yeah, it's I do know that I was approached by one of our therapists this week, and her daughter, Sasha, is actually starting to volunteer down there. So she wanted to let me know that was happening. So I feel that people know me well enough there that it's exciting. And I make sure that I always tell them, bring their friends, walk a dog. They can bathe a dog. And it's not a whole lot you can do, and it makes a huge difference.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Bridget, for tuning into the podcast here.
You're welcome.
And I hope you have a good rest of your day, and thank you for your contributions.
You too, everyone. It was nice meeting everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Bridget.
Bye-bye.
So, funny thing, right at the tail end of Bridget's conversation, we have Justa Goodell now calling in to the podcast right now. So, hi, how's it going?
Good. How are you guys?
Hi.
Good.
Justa.
Good. You're here with Sandy, Jesse, and Lori on the board here.
Good.
So, what do you feel is important for? We were just talking about volunteerism. How important does volunteerism do you feel at the animal shelter is? Like, how integral is that to the mission of the shelter?
Well, when you're a small department with only a couple of staff members, you can be very limited to what can be done. And when you have to be very careful with a small budget and how much you can do. Not that the county has ever discouraged me from doing the right thing for an animal that comes in, but we have limited resources. We are a small county, relatively poor county, and people pay taxes and want to make sure they're going to the right things. And a lot of people would not say that animal shelter isn't the right thing, but there's county roads and children and adult services for elderly, and there's just a lot of programs out there that the county is taking care of. So we are just one of many. So you have to be reasonable on what you ask from the county. So volunteerism fills that gap in where staff, you only have two hands, one head, 2 feet. And if you only have 2 of them or 3 of them, you're multiplying that by 3. It still is not enough time to give every animal that needs some extra TLC or more time with people to get a little bit better grip of being more social. You need more people doing it. So volunteerism, to me, is probably one of the best parts of our program. It is the most reaching into the life of the dog. Plus, them sharing what they do at the shelter to other people encourages volunteerism beyond them. It also encourages adoption, also shows other people in their lives and the people they touch what the shelter's all about. And there's no better way of announcing what's happening in your organization than by word of mouth. So it all kind of hooks together. Helen Keller had a saying that says, "Alone we can do so little, together we can do so much." And that was one of her quotes. And I've always remembered that when I'm working with people. If there's a whole bunch of us doing something, it always goes quicker. But alone, very little can be done because it's impossible to do as much as 4 people or 10 people, or as your board and all the people that have volunteered there. So that's, to me, that's the groundwork to why we become what we've become is because of the involvement beyond staff, paid staff.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So in that regard, we're doing on our podcast episode today kind of a self-reflection of Animal Friends, kind of like a reintroduction for especially our new audience now that we have a video version of the podcast, and we're going on to 10 years now for Animal Friends. So it's quite a remarkable thing, and you've been there since the very beginning when we formed and before we even formed. So what's your perspective on Animal Friends in a nutshell for the past 10 years?
Well, we've gone from maybe having a few people come and walk dogs. That's the first few years. Not saying anything about spaying and neutering, any of the extra medical. I would just kind of try to target 5 or 6 dogs every year to spend some of my budget on if they came in with some terrible things. We've gone from terrible health situations. We've gone from that to having a very small group raising enough money to maybe spay 2 dogs a month, to going to a larger group. Now, you guys being a 501c3, you're filling in all the gap that is lacking that the county can only do so much of. You complete that. So it has gone from, at one point, a minus situation for me, because I was one person and a part-timer. Then I went to, for years, was one person with a part-timer. Then I went to 2 people full-time, to now 3 people full-time, and a board like you have. So it is like ground zero to me to the highest peak. Now we're fulfilling all the needs of the dogs' medical needs and being able to socially get them out. Of course, we're talking back when Facebook wasn't important, I don't even know if it was a concept back when I first started. I know I'm a little slow on the getting of that because I just don't like to spend much time on my phone. I'm from that generation that's a little disconnected. But you guys, you younger generation, that is a very big means of communication. So we've gone from having nothing out there. I used to put things on WCJW. They would run we have a small dog up for adoption when I was really trying to find somebody to adopt a dog, from having now a pile of applications that we have to screen people with, and your media, which is, imperative to helping rehome dogs, and if dogs are lost, to help them get their owners, connect their owners to any needs that are out there. If we have a medical need come in that's really huge, I've seen you guys be able to raise money to take care of that. So that's where you think about the new law that's going to be in effect in December. We're already doing it. So the big change that some shelters are going to be having to deal with, we won't even have to deal with that because we've already established how we are taking care of these dogs. So it's like black and white to me that we've completely lost that area where I had to try to figure things out. So that's what 10 years has done. It's just been a complete turnaround on what the animal friends are able to do. And I've watched you guys from having a board that comes in and figures things out, to planning, to getting the program on underway, and then to seeing it run. It's nice to, I can take my hands off so much and just watch you guys go, which is really nice, really nice. So I can't even compare the beginning to the end. They're completely 2 different entities. That's how I see it anyways.
Yeah. Well, we were doing some self-reflection a little bit earlier on the where the animal shelter was and what the care of the dogs were at back in 2015 and before that, with like spaying and neutering. It was hard to fundraise as a small little group we weren't a nonprofit. We didn't have the means to be able to advertise for these dogs like we did after Animal Friends. And now every dog that leaves the animal shelter is getting spayed, is getting neutered, is getting extra vet care. The county covers only so much and only the necessities. Animal Friends sponsors them and takes them on to do the microchipping, to go the extra 10 miles to get them all ready for a home. And so that was before this new law was even thought of. And now it's becoming law, as you've said. And now all shelters have to do what we've already been doing.
Yeah. So it's, the change that even we're going to face as a shelter as we walk through this new law and start implementing things. Part of this, I don't even have to worry about. It's already being done, which is a big load, off my back on trying to figure things out. So it just shows you what volunteerism is all about, truly. And I try to tell people in other counties when they say, how does this program, how did it get underway? You just have to start with, and there's somebody in every community that has a heart for an animal. You just have to get them on board and start slow. And people come forward who've been able to do the paperwork on 501c3s, who know what that's like. There are people out there in every county that has dealt with it and knows it and will volunteer to help out. You just have to connect the dots with the right people, and you can get all the help you need. So
yeah. Look how much Animal Friends has grown in the past 10 years. When we started in 2015, we had the Spay Our Stray program, and then we had another program that Tom started. We're going to talk about that soon, the Pets for Vets program. But now, in the past 2 or 3 years, we've been able to fundraise and make so much of an awareness that we have an educational podcast that we're doing right here, and educational videos that even if they change one heart or one mind out there, or someone learns just one new thing from all these videos that we do, that's one more dog or cat that's going to be saved. That's one more dog or cat that's going to be treated properly. And so that's a big part of what Animal Friends is for the dogs here at the shelter, and making our community as healthy as we can. So
Sure. And we've all learned what education can do, whether it's mental health. We are learning more and more about mental health. The more we learn and we share and we educate ourselves, we understand more. The more we learn about economics, the better we are with our own economics in our own home. The more you educate people, the more resourceful they are and the better choices they make. So even if people think, well, you're never going to change the minds of some of the people that's hearing this, it doesn't matter if you change some of it, but if you change a small portion of it, or a child that's listening, or somebody who's been doing something for years and just didn't know that was inappropriate. Now they change their mind and someone else watches them. It isn't how many minds you change, is that you're moving that way to educate, and it will catch on. And it might take 10 years for us to see a generation of people, just like we've seen with other things, a generation of people who are now more educated in the way things are. I think that's how this animal industry has moved along anyways. When back in the 80s, when they realized that all these dogs being tied up against a barn was, and you watch this evolve. Even how we care for them has evolved. Even the vet world has evolved. Mm-hmm. So that's all done because we've educated, and you have to start somewhere. So your programs are, focusing on education is really a benefit. Will be a benefit to the next generation of people coming up.
Yeah, and we're very blessed to have this CHOW Project and up and coming this puppies program that's going to help with our youth and getting them involved with reading to the dogs at the shelter. All this is going to be vital to our overall mission and goal.
I think one of the things, because you probably want to move on and get me off the phone, but one of the things that is proof to the pudding, especially with your group, during COVID, when everything was shut down, you guys still raised enough money, over $12,000, to do that puppy playground. And that's without seeing people face to face. That's just reaching into their homes via the phone, through posters, word of mouth from one person to another. That just shows what a small group can do. Mm-hmm. In the midst of COVID, when everything else was declining, when they couldn't get help anywhere, and everybody felt shut off, you guys still continue to raise money. And maybe you raised it more because of COVID. People felt like they needed to do something, wanted to make a change, and that was one way they knew they could because they couldn't come up. Or I'm not sure how it evolved, but all I do know, it was such a testament to me about volunteerism. Even if you're not leaving your home, there are ways of helping without walking out the door and meeting up with someone. COVID was a good example of something you were all able to achieve without that one-on-one connection, seeing people at the door. Yeah. So I remember that year of having a big sign on the door. We were by appointment only. Everybody had to mask up. They couldn't come in the office. We still were able to adopt dogs out. You still were able to raise that money. It worked out as if we just had to work in a different corridor. We had to find another pathway to do all that we were doing without that function. And that just to me was such a testament to your organization of what can be done even amidst a shutdown. So that was, to me, real proof that you guys really had a valid group that was really reaching into the lives of other people. So
yes, and we have such a blessed community to be able to talk to and communicate with and contribute with, and partner with. Yes. Does anyone have any questions for Justa while we got her on the phone still? Any comments you would like to make? Anything of that regard? All right. Well, we are all very appreciative of all the work that you do here at the Animal Shelter and how you've partnered with Animal Friends and put up with some of us when we're like, hey, we got a new form we want you to fill out and things like that. Yeah. But
well, you've been patient with me because I don't always do them right. So there's always a bunch of you that go around and fix it. So we're, as long as that dog gets out of there and we know who they are and can get a picture and everything works out then,
Yeah, and thank you for everything that you do.
Yep.
And we are looking forward to the next 10 years of working with you, if we get that many with you.
Yeah, you never know where I'm going to pop up.
Yes. Well, thank you,
Okay.
Officer Goodell.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, well, that was awesome. Justa Goodell, our animal control officer of Wyoming County, also my mother, calling into the animal shelter here, or our podcast, I should say, which actually we are technically, even though you see this background here and you see our amazing t-shirts we're going to be showing off a little bit, we're live here at the Wyoming County Animal Shelter filming these podcasts. So we've been very blessed to, if you hear any dogs in the background or any noises like a fish tank or anything like that, that's just, we're here at the animal shelter because this is where we do a lot of our work. And this is where it really matters, is touching the lives of the dogs are out back right now. So moving on from that, trying to think where we were before we got the phone calls. We were talking about CHOW, and we were starting to touch upon the Puppies Project, or Puppies Program, I should say, which at this time of the recording is a very new concept, but it speaks to what you were talking about, Jesse, about how getting the youth involved and reaching out into the schools and into those environments to encourage kids to come and volunteer and to learn those basic dog ownership traits that we want. You know, it's, how do I explain this? And I'm sure you guys have probably thought about it too, because we all are responsible pet owners, responsible individuals, things like that. But when you think of a dog that's been abused or a cat that's been abandoned or anything like that, and it makes you wonder, how did it get to that situation? What was going through someone's mind that they had to hurt or torture an animal in some kind of way? And we've seen here at the animal shelter some horrific things. If you get our 2025 calendar, one of the dogs that's in it, his name is Ziggy. And there is, I'm going to say the timing wrong, but it's over 10 minutes of video footage of his previous owner beating him. And it's one of the most gruesome things you'll ever, I hope you never get to see it or experience anything like that in that regard, like visually watching it. But for our investigating and things like that, some of us at Animal Control had to take a glimpse of that video, and it was horrific. And it makes you wonder, why do people do that, and why do they not know how to treat a dog right? And so, to tie this along with what I was about to say for the Puppies Program, that's one of the goals of the Puppies Program, is to not only help the kids with their reading proficiency and they'll be able to work with the dogs and socialize with the dogs through reading and just interacting with them as kids, but to teach them little things that seem basic to us, but in the grander scheme, this is how you touch a dog, this is how you pet a dog, this is how you speak to a dog, things like that, reinforcing it at a young age, so when they get to be young adults and have a dog on their own, they remember, oh, here at the animal shelter, I remember that, you know? So, is there anything involving that you guys would want to contribute to that whole overall what the Puppies Program is going to be like type thing? How vitally important do you feel this is for the shelter, for our community?
Well, I think it's socializing the dog and children, coming in, reading to the dog. They meet other people too. Because sometimes people don't socialize their dogs that much. And being around a lot of people, different people, I think would help with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes, and it's great for animal control to see how these dogs do with kids. You know, so we know, all right, this dog is good in a family environment. Or maybe there's a dog that we don't know is not good with little boys or little girls, and be like, if your child's under the age of 5, we found here just for their interaction that we don't recommend a family setting for this dog, because each dog is different, each case is different, and especially for kids that are fearful of dogs, I think this would be a very good program for them to just, they don't even have to look at the dog, they just look at their book, read out loud, and then they start feeling that human-animal bond that we all have grown up with and we all are familiar with, and they learn that empathy at such a young age. You know, I'm hoping that programs like our CHOW and our puppies would help the next generation of our community members be a little more self-aware of how to properly treat a dog and a cat. So those are our programs and projects, guys. You could go to our website, animalfriendsofwyco.com, and click the programs and programs and projects tab, where you can donate to specific programs and projects. If you want to donate right to the CHOW podcast or the CHOW Project, the funds our puppies and funds everything else, or Pets for Vets or Spay Our Stray. And we haven't actually really talked too much about Pets for Vets. So I'll give a little bit of a synopsis about it right now. The Pets for Vets program is our second program. Tom Purcell, our board member, he's our program director. He created this program, for our service members and veterans that are looking to adopt a dog, but maybe they can't afford that financial burden of starting up being a dog owner. And Tom had a real heart for that. He's a veteran himself. Ed, who co-runs the Spay Our Stray program with Tom, he's a veteran himself too, I believe, from Vietnam. And so Tom wanted to see if there's a way we could be able to help ease the financial burden of adopting a dog at the Wyoming County Animal Shelter for veterans and active service members. So part of that project, or part of that program, I keep saying project because CHOW is a project, but part of that program, we reimburse the dog owners for their dog licenses. We help cover some of their medical needs if need be for a certain period of time, if applicable, if we're able to do that, financially speaking. And we keep touch with them. And Tom goes out to their home to make sure everyone's acclimating into the home environment. And so the Pets for Vets program, none of those dogs that go through it are sponsored. That are service dogs, where they're designed and trained to help with certain needs like PTSD or anything else that our veterans have experienced or service members have experienced. But it does help ease that financial burden, that one bag of dog food to go home with them, so they don't have to buy something on their own when they're first starting and they're just trying this out, because we want to give back to our veterans in any way that we can. So that was Tom's idea, and we've been able to implement it and do quite well with it. We've had quite a few adopters have come in that fill out our application form here at the animal shelter, and they mark, I'm a veteran. And so we introduce them to the Pets for Vets program, and they sign up for it, and it's our way of giving back as animal friends. So is there anything involving that you want to add to that maybe I forgot?
I mean, you can also donate to the Pets for Vets specifically, just to make sure you note that. And that would help that program quite a bit. We do have some funds available, obviously, but if you're keen to donate, then that's a great program to donate to.
Yes, that really is. It's these programs and projects that we have here at Animal Friends, they're all designed to fulfill our mission, which is to help the dogs at the Wyoming County Animal Shelter and also promote proper ownership and health awareness for dogs in our community. So please, if you have the means to do so, donate to our group, and every penny does go towards our mission. Another thing we'll touch upon here, if you want to help out in a different way, other than just donating, we do have a membership part of our group that you could be able to join. Lori, can you give us some details on our memberships and like how much is it to join, or some of the benefits, things like that?
Well, I know Lisa, our other board member, she heads that out. It's $15 to join, and I think we're up to 100. It's over 100 now, over 100 members, she said.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what she does with that.
Lisa is
she kind of heads that up.
Yeah, like Lori said, Lisa is our members director. She's in charge of all of our memberships and things like that. And so she works with Lori and I to help come up with a system to keep track of our members, involve the members in any way we can. So like Lori said, $15 a year, you could be a member of Animal Friends. And what you get for that, some of the benefits that you get, a newsletter mailed to you. Right now it's a biannual newsletter, although we may even turn it into a quarterly newsletter because we're doing so much stuff.
Yes.
Our newsletter is becoming quite a little book in and of itself.
It sure is.
So you get that mailed to you, and you get an opportunity to ask questions on this podcast. So as a member, that's a member exclusive thing. So we'll send you like an email about a week or two prior to the episode to say, hey, we're doing an episode on this with this guest. Do you have any questions you want us to ask? We do keep them somewhat anonymous, so you don't have to worry about your name being out there and everything like that. But you get the chance to have your voice be heard on the podcast. And
we also ask them to help at events.
Yes.
If they'd like to, yeah.
Yes, because we have an amazing event team. Rochelle, our event director, and then Trisha, our event coordinator. Amazing group right there, those two. And they have quite an array of events lined up for 2025. And we definitely would need your help in organizing them, flyers, getting baskets, things like that. Well, all of that goes a long way. So, yeah, become a member of Animal Friends, and it really does help us out.
We did come up with different levels of memberships for years, correct?
Yes, I think that it's given a discount if you sign up for more than 1 year at a time.
I think 1 year is 15, 2 years is 25, and then 3 is 40, I believe.
Yes, I think because it's like a $5 discount type thing.
Yeah.
So sign up and become one of those 3-year members. That would be fantastic.
We did just have a, a push at the fair. We did get 3 new members at the fair, so that was wonderful. We were going to do a basket for that person, or we're going to do like a raffle, and you have a chance to win something. So stop on in, get a membership form.
Yes, and anyone who becomes a member of Animal Friends, another perk is these t-shirts that we have displayed here. We have a whole bunch of new t-shirts. Any color you think of, we got it. Any style you think of, like a V-neck, crew neck, tank tops, we got them now. So we definitely have boosted our shop and support section for our group. And one of the perks of being a member is you get $5 off of your t-shirt. So become a member and then pick a t-shirt out that you want. And I think they normally start at $15 and go up from there. So you could be saving quite a bit on something like that. And you're showing your support for our group, which all the money from these t-shirts go towards our programs. So
specifically the Spay Our Stray.
Yeah.
Which that's the one we use.
The
big one.
Yeah, that's the we're using that constantly. Sandy here can attest to the vet bill that comes in once a month.
Oh yeah.
But it's all good stuff, and we're very fortunate to have a good community that's donating to that. So please become a member of Animal Friends, be part of that community, and be an Animal Friend member. And you'll get monthly emails, by the way, too. I forgot to mention. Lisa does a lot of work, our members director, on sending a monthly email out to our members, so they get inside look and exclusive on what Animal Friends operations are, what we got on the plate, what we're doing, and you get to see, most importantly, what the dogs that you are helping save with that membership fee. So please become a member today, and that really would help us out in that regard. So actually, the next slide on my thing was how do I donate? And you mentioned some really good ones already on our website.
Yeah, and speaking of the website, for the members too, there's a form online that you can do, and then pay your fees that way. There's PayPal that we do. We do ask for a little bit more because they do charge us a fee for the membership. So if you could just give us a little bit more than the fee, that would be great to cover those fees.
Yes, but I'll donate through PayPal, Venmo. You can mail in your donation to right here, the Animal Shelter, and just put attention Animal Friends of Wyoming County. Our secretary and treasurer would keep track of that every week to make sure that things are being accounted for and in the right spots. Or you can stop in here at the Animal Shelter and donate in person too. That's completely fine. Take a look at the Animal Shelter, what we have for our shop and support section, and purchase some popcorn, purchase a necklace, purchase something that's going to help us out. So we're trying to create quite a bit of a storefront, so you actually get something for it, but you're also knowing that you're contributing to our mission. So one thing that I did mention, or I haven't mentioned it yet, but I did put on here on my slide for this section, is our Canine Recycle Project. That kind of gets overlooked sometimes, but one of the ways we started fundraising for Spay Our Stray is we asked people to donate your cans, your pop bottles, and your water bottles, things like that we could be able to go to our local can redemption centers and turn them in. And even though it's just 5 cents per bottle and per can, it adds up. And we have a drop-off bin here at the shelter where people could donate. And multiple times we come to the animal shelter and be like, oh, we have 3 or 4 bags of cans. Perry Vet Clinic, they donate internally all their pop bottles and cans to the Spay Our Stray program through that. So if you have pop bottles and you want to get rid of them and you don't really care about getting the money back yourself, but you want to donate them, just donate your pop bottles to Animal Friends and we take them to a can redemption center.
They also have at the Can Redemption Center a place where you can donate to us directly. Just leave your cans in the bin labeled Animal Friends.
Yes, that's true.
Warsaw, they have 2 redemption centers, I believe. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if there's any other ones.
2 in Warsaw. There was one in Perry for a while. I think that's still active.
Is it? I'm not sure.
Or maybe I'm wrong. I'm not sure. It's been a while for that. I know there's one in Arcade, and there is one in Attica. But in Attica, it's we don't really see too much from there because usually the donations they get there go to the Wyoming County SPCA, which is great. You're donating to an local organization anyways. But but if you want them to come to the dogs here at the animal shelter, donate them to Animal Friends Wyoming County, and we'll it helps funds our programs. It funds our Spay Our Stray program in particular. So there's that. So usually during this time of the podcast, we ask if there's any questions from our members. Given the type of podcast that we're doing today, are there any questions you guys have in general about the Wyoming County Animal Shelter, or do you think people would have for Animal Friends that we can be able to answer for them right now?
I think a big one is like, where does the money go? And I think we've already answered a lot of that with our programs and projects, and I think that was a big one. I would imagine.
Yep.
The membership money goes towards CHOW, so it helps fund all of these programs.
Yep, and the newsletter in particular, which you get in the mail then. So it keeps you in tune of what we got going on, what we have done, and the great work we've done. The donating and that financial transparency really is a big deal. Yep. If you haven't seen it yet, by the time this podcast is launched, there is an educational video out there that our treasurer Sandy did regarding donating to Animal Friends, and she really lays out there where the money goes, so you know what we have, what is Animal Friends, all these that we talked about today, our programs and projects, and the when you donate, you know where they're going. And you're seeing it with our CHOW podcast, and you're seeing it with the adoption stories that we have out there. I'm sure there's going to be a plethora more of them that we're going to be able to do. We're actually going to be filming a couple more today while we're here. So that's where all your money goes to, is to help these dogs. There's not one of us on the board that gets paid to do this. We all donate our time, as we've said before, to do this. So every penny that comes in goes right towards these programs.
Yes.
And then I think we touched about how to become a member, how to volunteer. We've touched on those things. I guess the only thing I could think of is people ask, what's your adoption process of the animal shelter? And I can explain that a little bit to a degree, because my full-time job is Wyoming County Animal Control, along with the other hat I wear, being president of Animal Friends. Coming here to the animal shelter, if you see a dog on Facebook, that you're like, oh, I want to have that dog, or I must have that dog, or I'm interested about that dog, and you want to know what the adoption process is at the animal shelter here. We just want to find good homes for these dogs at the animal shelter. So we don't do home visits to check to see the exact measurements of your house, of your yard, the fencing. We don't have certain requirements on preferred of invisible fence versus not invisible fence, a regular fence. We don't go into all that stuff. You're adopting a dog, and you are a good person, and you're a responsible, legal dog owner. We want you to have a dog. So we don't make you jump through all the hoops. Our application process is 1 page. So you come into the animal shelter here, you see the dogs are here, you're interested in the dog you saw online. We have a form that you fill out the front page. It's just basic stuff. We just want to know your township where you are. We want to know if you're an active service member or a veteran, so we can enroll you in the Pets or Vets program if you are. We want to make sure that if you are a tenant or you're renting a house or have an apartment, that we find the right dog for you that everyone, including your landlords, are in agreement with. And just basic things like that. And we do have a vet reference check on there to make sure that, if you do have pets at home, you are taking care of them. We don't want to... Animal Friends puts a lot of time and money and resources into these dogs to make sure they're properly vetted. They have microchips, they're spayed and neutered. Medically speaking, they're the best they can be for a shelter dog. We want to make sure as animal control that when we adopt them out to the public, to our community, that you as the new pet owner take on that responsibility and continue their medical care. So those are the only things that are our main requirements. After that, it's all on a meet and greet process. Make sure the dog vibes well with you, you vibe well with the dog. We have your family come, make sure the dog's good around your kids. If you have people that frequently stop by your house, you want to make sure all coast is clear. Invite them down, come to the animal shelter to meet this dog, to make sure everything's all good. If you own dogs, we do a meet and greet process here at the shelter, so we make sure that your dog gives the thumbs up or thumbs down if this dog's coming home. I usually say to people, everything is all green light, everything's all clear, but until your dog comes down here and gives us the thumbs up or thumbs down, it's not finalized yet, because that's the one that you can't really change their mind.
Right.
So that's basically all our adoption processes here at the shelter. And then the legal thing, you have to get their dog license done before they leave the animal shelter. So everyone is legally abiding by the law, because that's the law in New York State. Dogs must be licensed in New York State. So before they even leave the animal shelter here, and we transfer that ownership from the county over to you, you have to make sure your dog is up to date on the license. Other than that, that's it. And we've had great success stories, and very rarely do we see a dog have to come back to the animal shelter because it didn't work out, because we've done the best we can here that's non-invasive to vet each candidate, each applicant, and make sure that everyone's good. So we've...
How about an adoption fee, Sam?
Adoption fee. All right, so there... the animal shelter has always prided itself on no official adoption fee. It's just reimbursement of services that the county had to put in. So that's actually a very good point, because when a dog comes in that's a stray dog, the county covers the rabies vaccine because that's required by law. And for preventative disease control measures, especially with the new law that's going to be passed at the end, or that's going to be implemented at the end of 2025, the dogs have to have some sort of zoonotic disease prevention, disease control at the shelter. So we're not bringing in a dog that has parvovirus and contaminating any other dogs here, and the dogs are unprotected against that, because that's a deadly disease when they get it. It can be very fatal, I should say. So the county covers the rabies vaccine, the first parvo distemper vaccine, and they do a dewormer to make sure there's no internal parasites, nothing else going on that's harming your dog. And all of which are done by a veterinarian. We partner at Animal Control. We partner with Perry Vet, just like Animal Friends partners with Perry Vet. So we know we're getting the right stuff for the right pet. We don't go to Tractor Supply, which I never recommend anyone doing this. If you want to deworm your pet, get it from your veterinarian. Even if it's not a quote-unquote prescription dewormer, it's something that your veterinarian has said is good and suitable for your pet. So we always do everything by the book here. We get all of our services done from Perry Vet. So roughly, when you adopt a dog here and you have to pay back those services, it's about $100. It could be a little bit higher than that, but it starts off at $100
That's what
for
Pebbles
reimbursement.
was, so
Yeah.
when I adopted her.
Yeah, so it starts out $100. If you have...
It's very reasonable.
Oh, yes. Oh, my gosh. Compared to if you're going to buy a dog, or even some other rescue organizations that charge like $1,000 for a dog.
Right.
And it's a rescue. It's like, we're trying to find these guys home. We're not trying to just make a profit or anything like that. That's not the goal.
The dog is the most important.
Yeah, exactly. So, $100 is very reasonable, especially given the long-term vet care you're going to have to do. And it also is kind of a way to be like, hey, if you can't afford $100 to adopt a dog, can you afford taking care of the dog afterwards? You know, unforeseen situations happen where a medical emergency happens, and they don't have insurance like what we have. So we got to, as pet owners, be responsible enough to take them to the vet when we need to get them the right food that's best for them and for their diet and things like that.
That's the animal control part. How about the animal friends part? Is there an adoption fee there?
No, so there is no adoption fee through Animal Friends. Once the dog is then, after the dog comes in and it gets the services done through dog control, which is the rabies, powerful distemper, and dewormer, everything from that point onward is turned over to Animal Friends for sponsorship. So Animal Friends covers the microchip. We cover the second distemper parvo vaccine if need be. Any other vaccines that are needed, like the Bordetella vaccine, is something that we probably do. Sometimes, actually, I'm going to put a little pause on that. We have someone calling in right now. All right. Hello, Dr. Liz Wolf. How's it going today?
Hello. Good. How are you, Sam?
Good. You're live now on the Animal Friends CHOW podcast. How's it going?
Well, I'm happy to be here. I'm good. How are you?
Good. So we have Lori, Jesse, and Sandy here.
Hello.
And
Hello.
This episode that we're doing is kind of a self-reflection on Animal Friends and what we've done for the past 10 years now where we've been in operation. So do you have any advice or anything you want to share with us regarding our work?
Oh, I guess, I have been around that long too. And I just see Animal Friends as such a great advantage to Wyoming County and just all of the work that you guys do. Taking in not just young, healthy animals, but you guys have done a lot to place the older animals that may need something more than just a home. They might need a little bit of extra TLC, and I have seen those go to homes where they make the new owners really happy and gives the elderly pets a great home to live out their final days, which I think is really important.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. Well, we've been talking a little bit about our Spay Our Stray program and some of the things we do at the animal shelter, and we are very blessed as an organization to work with the Perry Veterinary Clinic and getting these dogs their medical needs and the attention to detail that you and so many other of the veterinarians give to these dogs, and the care and the love. It's beyond words and beyond measure, and we appreciate it. These dogs certainly appreciate it. So
yes, well, that's what we took the oath to do, and I think we all uphold that oath that we took when we went to veterinary school, and it's I think people mostly think of these younger dogs that are in homes, which are super important, but yeah, there's been a lot of great placements, and it just makes my heart happy when I see these animals go to by and large what seems to be their perfect home. Mm-hmm. So thank you guys for all you do, and I think you can't you do that, but also like the cool things you've done, like the little play area and all that stuff. You guys have done a lot. I know it's a lot of work.
Yeah, it's hard for us to imagine, some of us, especially me, who's been here for the past 10 years. It's been 10 years.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, in 2025 we celebrate our 10-year anniversary, so that's pretty cool. Not many organizations can reach that milestone and continue to grow like we have. So
that's right, and the vision that you have become. You should be proud. You guys should all be proud of that for sure.
Awesome. Well, does anyone have any questions for Dr. Wolf while she's on the pod today? Anything related to this? Well, one thing I can say, though, to jump in, is we are all eagerly anticipating when you join us on the podcast in person for an episode. So,
okay, well, good. We'll do that in November, and happy birthday! Great job, everybody.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for allowing me to be a part of it.
Well, thank you so much. I hope you have a good day.
All right, you guys too. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
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 Well, that was a special treat, Dr. Liz Wolf. She signed up to be part of our podcast we're going to be filming in the next couple months, and she tuned in today. That's really cool. So I'm trying to remember what we were at.
We were talking about when we adopt, is there any fees associated with Animal Friends?
Yep, so that's all donated money. That's all donations. We do ask as animal control for people to donate back to the program if we can, because some of these dogs cost upwards to $300-$400 depending on the case. So if we could recoup some of that money to put towards the next dog, that would be fantastic.
Pay it forward, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. But it's not a requirement, thankfully. So
you just have to pay the county portion, and then
Yes.
you could donate if you're able. If not, then that's fine as well.
Mhm.
We just want to see these dogs get homes.
Yes. Yeah, we do. Yes. So if you have the financial means to reimburse us for the work that we do, because we make sure these dogs get everything that they need, then great. But if you can't, we totally understand. Or if you can't at this time, you decide to do that later. We've seen that actually recently with a case with a dog named Hazel. The owner adopted the dog. Couldn't have at that time wanted to give a donation, and then before we know it, we saw a check of $50 come in. And so it's little things like that help a long way.
Yeah.
So
Even if $5, if you can just give $5, that it goes a long way. It really does.
All right, and I think we got one more phone call that's yet to come in. We've been taking phone calls all day for this special episode of our of our podcast. So I think we're going to have calling in shortly our media director, Kelly, who's going to talk a little bit about all the work that she does with our media aspect of things. So when you look at our group and you see put a face to the name type thing, that's where you're going to see is the content that Kelly puts out, and that whenever we do something. And here she is actually calling right now. Hello, Miss Kelly. How's it going?
It's going well. How are you, Sam?
Good. You are live on the Animal Friends CHOW podcast right now.
Kelly.
Hi, Kelly.
Hi, Kelly.
We have Lori, Jesse, and Sandy here. And so we're doing a little bit of a self-reflection on the animal shelter and Animal Friends in particular, since we're going on to 10 years now, celebrating that. So, what is there anything you'd like to say regarding your aspect of the group, like the media portion of things?
Well, I was hired in 2022 officially on the board with Animal Friends, and it's been a whirlwind and the best thing that has ever happened to me. It fulfills my retirement greatly. I enjoy coming down and working with everybody on Animal Friends, the staff at the shelter, and of course the wonderful dogs. I absolutely adore and love every dog that comes through. Spending.
Oh, it looks like we lost Kelly. But if she calls back in, then we'll pick up where we left off. But I'm definitely going to say that she's been a blessing for the dogs here at the shelter with some of the things that she's been able to do. I'm going to try to reach out to her again and see if we... Nope. All right. So if she calls back in, we'll, of course, put her right back on. But Kelly's our media director, and whenever you see her Facebook page and the dog posts and her videos, they've been an amazing asset to getting these dogs adopted. Hey, Kelly, sorry we lost you.
Wow, sorry about that.
All right, so while we were waiting for you... Oh, can you hear me? Oh, are you still there? Whoa.
Yeah, sorry about that. I lost the call.
Yeah.
I live in Wyoming County, and I definitely get a lot of drop calls in my home. So, as I was saying, I enjoy tremendously getting to know the dogs, their quirks, and whether they were a stray or a surrender. Just getting to kind of feel them out and see what home would do best for them. Mm-hmm. Take time to sit in the backyard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well,
and I post them for a little bit in the video about what I do know and what would be the best home for them, with obviously also some information from Jessica and you and Daryl and whoever else works with them. And I don't know, I just love it. And I think that this board
has done wonderful things since I've been in part of it for going on 3 years. We've accomplished many things as far as raising money to make sure every dog is vetted before they leave, spayed, neutered, microchipped, and fully up to date on shots, any surgeries. The events, our event coordinators that are wonderful in all the wonderful events that we've been having. This CHOW program that you developed before I even became on the board, but it really came into fruition since being on the board, in all the wonderful educational videos to help reach our population, to help, raise awareness for what our dogs need nowadays, and as we've evolved as human beings, and how important our animal companions are to us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, your involvement with the board has been tremendous. It's definitely benefited these dogs a lot. I think everyone has been able to see you and hear you on our Facebook page when it comes to showcasing these dogs, and you're one of the main reasons why we're able to get so many people online to see these dogs, see how they are. Your videos are so vitally important. So thank you for all the work that you do regarding that and regarding the board. Okay, well, thank you so much, Kelly, for joining us on the podcast today. And thank you guys for joining us on the podcast today, too, by the way. So we wanted to say your support has meant everything to us. It's meant everything to me and to our whole board. We have an amazing, uplifting group, and we have a lot of things planned for this year and the next 10 years. So we hope you join us for our endeavor. Thank you for tuning into this episode today. And please donate if you can. Stop by the animal shelter. And if you're curious to learn more about us, visit our website, www.animalfriendsofwyco.com. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of the CHOW Podcast, hosted by Animal Friends of Wyoming County. To learn more about us, visit our website at www.animalfriendsofwyco.com. And if you're interested in adopting a dog, please call the Wyoming County Animal Shelter at 585-786-8938. This has been a production of Knox Luna Films, LLC.